Kill la Kill If has 8 characters in its current build, with space for 10 more characters on the character select screen, bringing the roster to a total of 18 characters. So my lovely bushes, welcome back to the Globku channel. Today, we're gonna predict the complete roster of Kill la Kill If. Having just binge-watched Kill la Kill this weekend, again, my memory is pretty fresh on the events and characters of this show. So let's fill up this roster with the characters that I think will be in the final game. This is not a wish list, these are not the characters that I personally want, these are the characters that I think will be in the final build, and that's why you don't see Guts anywhere in this roster. And the first 2 characters that we're gonna add aren't really predictions. They are another version of Satsuki and Yuko that have already been announced. Both of these characters will have a duplicate where they will be dual wielding. Yuko will have the 2 halves of the scissor blades, and Satsuki will have the 2 pieces of the reforged Bakuzan. These characters will have a completely different moveset, so I believe they will take up a character space in the character select screen. I mean, there's a small chance they won't, and it will just be something you select after you select Ryuko, and then you select, do you want dual wield or regular? I don't know. But for now, let's just assume that yes, they will take up an extra space. We'll come back to this at the end of the video. And that leaves us with 8 more characters to predict. I'm gonna start with the most obvious characters, and as we go, the predictions are gonna get wilder and wilder. So first up, we have Aikuro Mikisugi, the undercover nudist beach agent posing as a teacher. Mikisugi is one of the main characters of Kill la Kill, and I have a hard time imagining this game without him. And while he may not be the most powerful fighter in this roster, he can certainly hold his ground, especially once he gets into his mech suit or DTR. So my prediction is that Mikisugi will make it in and he will fight with his DTR bipedal robot. Next, and also from Nudist Beach, a man who always has 2 useful pieces of information. Tsumugu Kinagase. Feeling like undressing just talking about all this Nudist Beach stuff. He also fights with his own DTR in the later episodes of the show, but he does spend a lot of the show fighting with nothing else but his massive arsenal of weapons. Especially those dual-wielding sewing machine guns that fire needles that can disable life fibers, and with those, Kinagase is definitely already an able fighter. He's also got lots of gadgets and weapons that can be implemented into his moveset, so I believe we'll see him announced right next to Mikisugi. Next up, Mako Mankanshoku. While she mostly provides comic relief for the show and the occasional touching moment of true friendship, Mako is herself an able fighter once she puts on a Goku uniform. Mako has worn the 2-star uniform not only during her Fight Club phase, but also during the final battle against Ragyo. Her being such a big character in the anime alone has made me wonder if she would make it, just because of how much screen time she actually has. She could just be a gimmick or a joke character, but after rewatching Kill la Kill and seeing that she actually fights in the uniform more than once, that has cleared any doubts left in my mind. Mako will definitely make it into the game. And from here, our guesses get a little bit wilder, but not too crazy yet. The next character, Shiro Yori. The president of the sewing club spends most of his time making outfits that the students use to fight. But at the very end of the season, he makes an outfit for himself. Yes, that is a guy. I had no idea until I made this video. But that is a dude. That is a male character. I spent years thinking otherwise, but no. Yeah. Although Yori never does any fighting, he does have a 3-star Goku uniform. And this thing makes him look like Dr. Octopus, so it's not far-fetched to think that this outfit can actually do some fighting. Especially with those 4 mechanical arms, some interesting stuff could be done with his moveset. And you know what, if push came to shove, I'm sure that Yori could fight himself. The only reason why he doesn't is because he's actually more valuable just making the outfits. Next, we have the only 2-star Goku uniform student that I'm adding to this list. Takaharu Fukuroda. There are a lot of minor characters that wear a 2-star uniform, but by episode 3, they all become sort of a joke. Fukuroda of the boxing club was actually the first one though. He defeated Yuko when she first came to the school before she found her own outfit. And he was the one that Yuko had to defeat in order to prove that she was actually a threat to this school. Even before reviewing the show recently, I remembered the boxing club guy. I didn't remember any of the other 2-star uniform students, but this guy I remembered. He was the only one who wasn't treated as a joke character. Well, not at first. It didn't last too long, but for a second there, he seemed like an actual threat. So of all the 2-star students, this one was the one to make an actual impression. Okay, we're getting to the point where the predictions are gonna get a bit wild, and there might be a bit of a wish list mixed with these next characters, but here we go. Next character, Ishin Matoi. That is right, Ryuko's father, a character that has only showed up in flashbacks. Though being dead doesn't necessarily exclude him from the roster, right? The game has a story mode, and although it's telling an alternate story, it could very well have a flashback scenario where you just play as Isshin Matoi. He was so instrumental to the whole setting, to the whole chain of events that happens during the show, that it's very, very hard to tell an alternate story and not include Isshin as a character. Plus, in a fight, this guy I think could actually handle his own. There's a small fighting scene of him versus Nyui Harime, and he's a life fiber expert. He made his own self-healing coat and he invented the scissor blades. It might be a long shot, but I'd love to see him in the final roster. Next, we have a character who seems to have some power, but barely showed any of it. Rei Homaru. Unfortunately for her, every time she fought, it was pretty much against someone who was so much stronger. So she was just easily swatted away. But she could go toe-to-toe with a lot of characters in this roster. Her primary weapon seems to be her sleeves, which she can shapeshift into whips, and she also proved to be pretty fast, protecting Ragyo from Satsuki's attacks. Unfortunately, she didn't show us much else regarding her abilities, which in the end makes me question whether or not she'll make it as a playable character. But hey, it's not like we have that many characters to pull from, so my bet is gonna be on this girl. And the final character on my prediction is a brand new original character. I don't know who they are, where their allegiance lie, or what their abilities are, but this game is telling an alternate story within Kill la Kill. It is written by the original author. I'd say there's a pretty damn good chance that they'll make up a brand new original character for the game. Looking at anime game trends, recently we've gotten a lot of original characters, almost every single time a new anime game came out. Now granted, most of those games were from Bandai Namco, and this is not, but I still think there's a pretty good chance we'll see someone brand new. So for my final character slot prediction, original character. Let's call this one Globku Kiruin. Yeah, I'll be in the final game. Before we move forward with this video, I want to be very clear. This is my final prediction. This is what I believe will be the final roster. Though I'm not super solid on some of the later characters that I predicted here, but this is what I'm going with. This is gonna be my final prediction. Now, just in case the dual-wielding characters, dual-wielding Satsuki and Ryuko, don't actually take up a character slot, then we have two more characters to predict. And they would be first, Kaneo Takerada, the man who believes people are controlled by money, and while he's correct, it just turns out that Satsuki was more correct than him, and people actually respect fear a lot more than money. Takerada uses money to move the masses into fighting for him. He loads money clips into machine guns that are fired at his enemies, and he's got a huge robot to fight against the life fibers. Takerada could be a funny character to play as, even if he is the easiest character to hate in their entire show. Man, I hate that guy. And the second character, there's no way this is happening, but hey, Mataro Mankashoku. That's right, Mako's brother. This guy survived for a whole month after the cover's attack on the planet. He's a fast and nimble character raised by the streets where he, well, he didn't have to steal, but I guess he enjoyed doing it a lot. Anyway, this would be kind of a joke character if he ever made it. He never really showed any skill to go toe-to-toe with any of the characters in this roster, but hey, someone has to be the weakest link, right? And there you have it, folks, 18 characters total. This is my roster prediction, and this is my alternate prediction in case the dual-wielding versions don't take up any character space. But now I pass the question off to you. What characters would you like to see in the final game, and would you change any of my predictions? Let me know in the comments down below. But as always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.